So, you've got an axolotl and you're ready to set him up in the most chill, laid-back tank possible. Easy, right? Well, not so fast. Our little water gremlins come with some pretty specific demands, and they won't settle for just any old setup. From cool temps to moody lighting to the occasional, let's dig up the whole tank tantrum, axolotls need a tank that works for them, not against them. Let's break it down so you can be the tank boss that your axolotl deserves. If plants were athletes, Java Fern would be the GOAT. This plant doesn't need warm water, bright light, or constant attention. It can thrive in cool low-light environments, making it perfect for your axolotl's tank. The best part? You don't even have to worry about it getting uprooted. Just tie it to a rock or some driftwood and it's set for life. Java Fern is all about living that low-maintenance lifestyle, which means less work for you and more green goodness for your axolotl. Anubias is basically the Java Fern's bestie. Tough, unbothered, and totally thriving in the same conditions. Whether it's attached to a rock or hanging out on some driftwood, Anubias can handle anything your axolotl throws at it. No fertilizer needed, no bright lights required, and it's completely chill in cool water. Plus, it adds some serious aesthetic points to your tank with its broad, dark green leaves. Your axolotl might knock into it, but this plant isn't going anywhere. If you want a plant that's not only sturdy but adds some height and flow to your tank, Jungle Vallisneria is a great pick. Its long flowing leaves create a natural shelter for your axolotl, giving them a place to hide out when they're feeling a little shy. Jungle Vallisneria is a fast grower, which means it can keep up with any mischief your axolotl might get into. And with strong roots, it stays firmly planted, even when your axie is in full bulldozer mode. Water Wisteria is a plant that can do it all. Want it to float? Done. Prefer it to be rooted? No problem. Fast grower? Check. This thing fills out the tank beautifully and thrives in cooler water and low light. It's also a nutrient sponge, which helps keep your water clean and balanced. Basically, Water Wisteria is the plant equivalent of that friend who's always organized, always has snacks, and somehow remembers everybody's birthday. Your tank will look lush in no time with Water Wisteria doing its thing. If you need a plant that can float or root itself and bring some serious shade to the tank, Brazilian Pennywort is your answer. This plant grows rapidly and it provides the kind of cover your axolotl craves. It's not fussy about light or temperature either, so it's happy hanging out in the cooler low light conditions. Its broad leaves create a cozy environment for your axolotl, giving them plenty of spaces to chill out and hide when they feel like it. Alright, listen, water lettuce is basically sunblock for your axolotl's tank. Floating on the surface, it throws down some serious shade, cutting down on light penetration and keeping the tank water cool. Your axolotl? Oh yeah, they're lounging in the low-light, chilled-out atmosphere that they crave. But water lettuce isn't just here to look pretty, it's also a powerhouse at absorbing nutrients. And as you might know, that helps keep your water quality in check. Think of it as a natural filter that also happens to give your axolotl a cozy, shaded hangout spot. The only catch? It grows pretty fast, so you're gonna need to keep an eye on it before your tank turns into a water lettuce jungle. Salvinia Natans might be small, but it knows how to handle business. This tiny floating fern thrives in low light conditions, which is perfect for an axolotl's chill zone. It's also an expert at controlling nutrient levels in your tank, helping to prevent algae from taking over. Algae? Not on Salvinia's watch. If you want a plant that's low maintenance and good at keeping your tank balanced, this little fern is a strong contender. Plus, it adds a delicate, almost otherworldly vibe to the top of your tank without needing much from you in return. Remember our friend water lettuce? Okay, well, let me introduce you to its cool cousin, the Amazon Frogbit. This floating plant stays on the surface, creating a perfect canopy for your axolotl. With its broad leaves, Amazon Frogbit mimics the natural habitats of axolotls, offering them plenty of spaces to hide and chill. It's also great for keeping water cool and nutrient balanced, and just like water lettuce, Amazon Frogbit does grow fast, so you're gonna need to do a little tank maintenance to keep things under control. But let's be real, it's a small price to pay for a plant that keeps your axolotl happy and stress-free. Looking to add a pop of color to your tank while also doing something practical? Red root floaters are where it's at. These floating plants have striking red tinted roots that not only look cool, but they also help absorb nutrients from the water. Your axolotl will appreciate the extra shade, and you'll love how it elevates the whole aesthetic of your tank. Plus, red root floaters are super easy to manage. They grow fast, but they're not as invasive as some of the other floating plants, so you won't be dealing with a full-on takeover. Duckweed has a reputation. It's the plant that just doesn't stop growing. On one hand, that's great because it's excellent at absorbing excess nutrients and keeping your tank clean. On the other hand, it grows fast. We're talking blink and it's covered your entire tank fast. So if you go with Duckweed, be prepared to do some regular maintenance to keep it from overwhelming the water surface. But if you're up for the challenge, Duckweed can provide serious benefits to your tank's ecosystem while giving your axolotl plenty of surface cover. Java moss is the ultimate low-maintenance, high-reward plant for axolotl tanks. It thrives in cool, low-light environments, which means it's perfectly suited for your axolotl's laid-back lifestyle. You can tie it to rocks, driftwood, or just let it hang out at the bottom of the tank. The best part, Java moss doesn't care how many times your axolotl bumps into it, it's staying put. This moss creates a soft green carpet that adds texture to your tank and gives your axolotl a little place to explore without the risk of uprooting. Guppy Grass, also known as Nausea grass, is a plant that doesn't play by the rules. You can float it, root it, or maybe both. It's happy either way. This plant is a great option for axolotl tanks because it offers cover, helps absorb excess nutrients, and thrives in cooler water temperatures. It grows fast and it spreads out, creating an almost jungle-like vibe in your tank. Guppy Grass also has the added benefit of providing extra oxygen into the water, making it not only a visual asset, but a functional one. And your axolotl's gonna love weaving in and out of its dense strands, all while you get to enjoy a happy, healthy, balanced tank. If you're feeling adventurous and want to add some unique plants to your axolotl setup, these unconventional options are perfect for shaking things up. They offer all the benefits of traditional aquatic plants, but with a twist that'll make your tank stand out. Pothos is one of those plants you've probably seen hanging out in living rooms everywhere. But did you know it can also work wonders in an axolotl tank? While it's not fully aquatic, you can submerge the roots in water, and Pothos will start absorbing nitrates like it's nobody's business. This keeps the water clean and reduces the need for chemical filtration. Plus, the long vines can add a pretty dramatic look to your tank. Pothos is low maintenance, resilient, and looks incredible in a tank setting. Your axolotl won't know what hit them. If you're looking for a plant that can survive pretty much anything, Anacharis is your go-to. It can float, root, it can handle cold water. Basically, it's the plant equivalent of a survivalist. Anacharis also helps oxygenate the water and absorbs excess nutrients, so it's a win-win for both aesthetics and functionality. It's also hardy enough to withstand your axolotl's adventures and keep your tank running smoothly without the need for constant attention. What more could you ask for? Alright, now that you know my top picks, let's take a step back and talk about what to consider if you want a plant that isn't on my list. If you're planning on setting your axolotl up with the underwater equivalent of a tropical vacation, you stop right there. Axolotls are not about that warm water life. They need to keep it cool, vibing in temperatures between 16 to 18 degrees Celsius, that's 60 to 64 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything warmer, and your axie is going to start throwing a major fit. We're talking about stress, health problems, and all sorts of bad vibes. The real challenge here is finding plants that can handle this ice bath of a tank. Not every plant can rock with these temps, so you're going to need to stick to the cold-tolerant crew. Trust me, the last thing you want is a plant that turns to mush the minute things get a little too cold. Bright lights? Hard pass. Axolotls are all about that low-light, moody ambience. Imagine a coffee shop where the lighting is just dim enough to give you a vibe, but not so dark that you can't see your latte. Yeah, that's the energy axolotls are after. Too much light, and they'll be hiding under plants in the corners, plotting their escape from your blinding tank. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to find plants that don't need to sunbathe all day to survive. Low-light plants are where it's at, and luckily there are plenty of options that'll thrive in that chill, dim setting. In fact, I have a whole video about them. Check it out in the card above. Let's get real for a second. Axolotls are not the most graceful creatures in the tank. I know. They're clumsy, they're nosy, and they'll absolutely bulldoze anything that isn't nailed down. This means your plants that are just sitting pretty in the substrate are probably going to be uprooted at some point, no matter how much you hope otherwise. Keep your tank looking less axolotl apocalypse and more underwater zen garden. You'll want plants that can float on the surface or ones you can anchor securely to rocks or driftwood. Otherwise, you'll be replanting every other day, and let's be honest, nobody's got time for that. Here's a not so fun fact. Most aquarium fertilizers are not safe for axolotls. These little guys are amphibians, which means they absorb everything straight through their skin, including any nasty chemicals lurking in fertilizers. So while your plants might look like they're thriving on that fertilizer boost, your axolotl could be suffering. The trick is to pick plants that don't need a lot of extra help to grow. Keep it low maintenance, chemical free, and your axolotl will thank you by staying happy and healthy. Now before you start planning that floating jungle, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications, because trust me, you're not going to want to miss out on more tank hacks, axolotl tips, and the latest in aquatic awesomeness. Check out our website for in-depth blog posts and give me a super thanks if you enjoyed the video, as it helps in creating content just like this. Or better yet, see you on the next video to your right. Your Axie's next tank upgrade is just one video away. See ya!